What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I'm joined once again by Mr. VIP Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I like got to change it up. Got to change it up every week.
Confetti. What do they call it? Tiny trash. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
How
well.
are you this week?
I'm satisfied.
Oh wow! Wait a minute. This is
I'm
a family show, sir.
Listen. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. You do not.
It should be. It could be.
It can't be.
It shouldn't be.
It definitely isn't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what has given you this satisfaction, sir? Maybe I should ask that question.
Well, first of all, let you all know that this is All Things Super, where every week
Yeah,
we
it
take a
is.
piece of superpower movie, TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them. We would ask the question: is it super?
Is it
Is it?
super at all?
We'll find out. But remember, if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow and reach out to us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
And leave a comment if you want to leave a comment. If you don't. I mean, ain't nobody go make you do nothing. Golly, shut. Oh, that's it.
You sounded so disgusted.
Oh, I did an impersonation the other day. I don't know if I want to reveal it here, but it was hilariously funny, and I want to make it a normal part of my bit because it's hilarious.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
So we don't
I
get a
wanna
preview of it. We don't get
No,
okay.
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it.
All right. Well, it's a work in progress. We'll check back on that later. But
Definitely.
we are talking about episode 8 and season 2 as a whole.
Are you gonna drop the card? Is that what you're building up to?
Not really, no. Of Invincible.
Okay. Thought you were gonna drop the card.
No, we don't have that in the budget.
Okay. Hey, I didn't even know we had a budget. This is all new. It's all going up from here.
Look,
now we just got to work on getting the budget bigger. I didn't know we had one. Yeah, we are here. We are here. Listen, we've been covering this show every episode for Invincible season 2, and we're come to the conclusion. And Spider, I'm gonna be honest with you. Without spoiling it for anybody, it kind of went the way that I thought it was gonna go.
I would think so.
I mean, we talked about it here on the show quite often. Like, dude, you don't have no powers. Like, you could just open up portals. Like, it seemed terrifying before because it's like, well, he could never get close to you because every time you move, you getting transported somewhere else. And I did say no spoilers, but y'all should know by now that that's not what we do here. So if you haven't seen Invincible, I don't know why you're here. Because you're like us. But once Mark got his hands on him, oh my God. Oh my, and you broke my mom's arm, and you got oh my God, you got my brother just looking like a toy, like a teddy bear. You holding him by the leg like you never had kids, and that's not true. We know you had a son,
Right. And
so somewhere along the line, you knew the proper way to hold a baby. So I'm about to give you these hands. Mark does nothing less but throw them hands. But what happens after that? We have to sit in it.
Yeah.
And just like the title card that they threw the blood on in season 2 at the end of season 1, Well, yeah, because we
All
started to
all along season
break
one,
away
he was
all
getting
on
blood on
season
him.
one.
Hmm.
Mark is covered in blood. And when he drops down and says, I thought you were stronger because Antrim Levy was saying, I got upgrades. I found doctors give me upgrades. And
Hmm.
you thinking that, oh, well, he's ready. He's
He
a
got a couple
meta.
licks in.
Yeah, he did. And then Mark got the rest in. And I don't know what animals or creatures are in that time period, in that time zone through dimensions. You still you go get licked off the ground, I guess, by insects and ants, and he's soup. There's like nothing. It's just neck and brain. That's all.
If
That's
that.
oh my god. But Mark was like, I thought you were stronger, but he wasn't even talking to Angstrom because clearly he was no more but than a puddle. He was talking to himself because he whole season two overall theme was I don't want to be like my dad. I don't kill. I don't do the things that my dad do. It's unforgivable what he does. And he's been holding on to that throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Even when he was fighting the Viltrumites, his dad was saying, they are trying to kill you. If you do not kill them, you're going to die. We're going to die. And he's like, I don't kill. And now, to take this character to the end of the season with his death on his hand, whoa, whoa. Why do they hate Invincible so much? I gotta ask Robert Kirkman, why does he hate the character he created? We talked about this many a times. If you love him, you gotta destroy him, and that's what people love because you gotta bring him through. The dude just broke up with his girlfriend an episode ago. Like
And
the
this
girl
is
he really liked her.
as far as timeline goes, canonical timelines, the way that the show is set up. This is moments. Well, not moments because he did go see Eve, but we're talking about less than a few hours after he broke up
Right.
with his girlfriend. And now he has to deal with this, these feelings that he has for Eve, but he can't tell her how he feels because is he only telling her because of what the future Eve told him? Or is he telling her because that's how he really feels and he really wants her to know?
But at the same time, am I not getting close to her because we already seen what happened to Amber? The same thing could happen to Eve. We've seen it happen to Eve in a different universe. Mark did it himself. He paralyzed her to a point that she just a tear came out of her eye. She's horribly catastrophic. She's she's stuck. She can't do none of this, Spider. Like none of that. When the music come on and you want to do some of that, you can't even do that. You just blinking your eyes. That's horrible. You can't twerk with your eyeballs. You can't. I'm doing it right now. You can't even see it. It's horrible. It's horrible. Nobody wants to see that. Slow your eyes down. It's horrible. It's horrible, Spider. I'm just saying. And you don't want to see that happen to her again. So you know she could be in danger. So you don't want to put her in danger. So you may not tell her how you feel. What type of life could Mark have? His father is a psychopathic murderer who damn near destroyed the planet, beating him to a non-existent person, barely survived. Catching these L's all season one, and at the end of it, you catch a huge one from your dad. Then when you're recovering, trying to get over things, going through your own little, run-ins with death, you find out your dad's still alive and he done had another kid. And he got married again to another lady. Like, I think of your mom as a pet. He's still living with this. His man heard this come from his father's mouth.
Yeah.
Like, like, why does Robert Kirkman hate Invincible? Why? Didn't we think he's gonna get a relationship? Nah, you can't have that, my guy. What are you talking about? Get out of here. You got responsibilities. You're getting beat up every week. Like, come on. But if you love him, you gotta drag him through the mud. And he did just that. Now we're on an emotional breakdown because we went against everything that we stood for. It's kind of like the Joker in the what's the origin story for the Joker? They try to make the origin story.
Was it Red Hood?
The theme was everybody could be pushed, right? That was the
One
whole
bad day. I think was
one bad day.
yeah
Yeah,
the
they
comic book
adopted
run.
that storyline in the Batman when he tried to get Harvey Dent to turn.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to when he killed Rachel, Harvey was conflicted. He stood for good, but everything that he loved and lost had his bad side for Saw to come into play. He was two faced it. So basically, essentially, the same thing has happened here. You got your good versus your evil, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you and your mom and your brother, and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, but there's something he can do about it because you don't have any powers. You can dimension hop, but once Invincible got his hands on you, Kool Aid
And
time.
and
Oh yeah.
the thing about it is because we talked about this last week where we were saying, what has Angstrom been up to? We knew he had been to a
Getting
couple of
suits
different
made.
getting suits made, but we knew that he had went and saw, or he had went to a universe where Invincible was in prison because he was trying to figure out how to defeat Invincible. Like we said,
Right.
that Invincible told him that they tired me out. It got to a point where they kept coming, they kept coming, they kept coming. I got tired, and they were able to catch me. And so we see that that's what he's doing to Mark. He gets
Right.
Mark riled up, lunges at it, makes him
Right.
lunge at him. Then he transports him to another, dimension where he knows that there are a whole bunch of threats. He has to fight his way out. Surprises him, brings him back to this universe, get him riled up, and keeps him dimension hopping this whole time. And we saw that when he was coming back into Mark's universe, when we saw him at the end of episode 6, all of those universes he passed through, those were universes that he sent Mark through when
Mm-hmm.
when they were
The
having their battle.
the zombie
The zombie
verse and
verse, the dinosaurs,
dinosaurs.
the Antarctic, glacier
Mm-hmm.
mountains and everything. And what he doesn't account for, and it's funny because he also keeps bringing it up, is this Mark is different.
Mm-hmm.
This Mark is unique, and he thinks that just because this Mark is a Mark that's different, this Invincible is the one that didn't align with his father to prepare the earth for Viltrum rule.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that because this Invincible is not as brutal, that's the Invincible that he can take down. This is the Invincible that he knows that he can beat. And so,
Oh,
with
oh,
all
how
his augmentations,
wrong you
with
are.
all of his, planning and plotting and thinking that, he's the savior of the story, Debbie tells him, you're talking about all of these different versions of my son who've done all these things, but you can't say anything about this one. You
Mm-hmm.
can't say that he's destroyed a people. You can't say that he's murdered thousands. All you can say is because what you believe is that he ruined your life.
Hmm.
And even
But he
when,
didn't.
right, and even when Mark says that, of course, it upsets him when we were talking about this, the whole thing with in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, calling the Spot a villain of the week. Invincible was like, "Oh, I remember you. You're that guy." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm just that guy to
That
you."
guy.
He's like, "You
What?
destroyed my life,
I'm your
and I'm just
nemesis.
that guy." But in all the explaining and everything, and Invincible tells him, of course, he's like, "Yeah, I remember you tried to save me." And
Title card? Oh no, okay. thought you
no, that
thought you were
was way
dropping
after the title card.
it.
But no, he was basically saying Invincible told him like you were trying to save me, And the thing about it is that what we see is that the thousands of Angstrom Levies that emerged with the one that we saw from the beginning, who kind of put all this together, we see in every universe how Invincible or Invincible and Omni Man has destroyed Angstrom Levy's family, has
Right.
destroyed his life, has,
Right.
wronged him in some kind of way. So you have 999, other Angstrom Levies in your head saying, Invincible has destroyed my life, destroyed my family. And you have this one who remembers that I didn't want to start my
I knew,
mission off the
I knew
death of somebody else.
Utopia. Yeah.
And
That
you
wasn't
took
that.
your helmet off. And so it's like that inner conflict that he has. And especially with Debbie telling him, it's like, you're saying that Mark is so bad, but look at you. You're holding a
Facts.
woman and a baby
And a baby.
hostage
Facts.
because you want to hurt this person. It was like, what does that make you? It's like, how are you the good
How
guy
are you
in
the
this?
hero? I question that all the time.
But he's so convinced. He's so convinced in his
So
mind that what
convinced
he's
he'd
doing
break
is
his
right.
arm, break her arm.
Yeah. Well, she did swing the duck at him.
She hit him with that duck.
She hit him with the duck.
Clearly, he didn't pay attention because if he would have seen it, then he would have knew what to do. It's in the name. Duck down.
Well,
If you would have ducked down, you wouldn't have got hit in the
I mean,
face.
he didn't really have too much neck to duck down with all of his
Ew,
surrounding
ew, ew,
accoutrement.
ew. Wait, what? Okay.
But
And
what I love about it is everything that we get in that internal monologue that
uh
Mark
huh.
has. There's so much of that double layered, that double meaning. Like you said, he was saying that I thought you were stronger, not saying it to Angstrom Levy, but saying it to himself. But, also saying it to Angstrom Levy because, like you said, in the fight on Thraxa, Nolan telling him, you have to let go. You have to stop holding back because if not, these people are going to kill you.
Right.
And again, not wanting to be his father, but also not wanting to prove his father right.
Mm.
Not to be that weak
Want to do
person
it his
that's
way.
right. And so when Angstrom starts to hit him, he gets those licks in, and I can only imagine how Mark is like, okay, well, I really have to fight. This is not just a human who has, universe hopping powers. This is a super powered being,
Mm-hmm.
who's going because this is his first time interacting hand to hand with Angstrom.
Right.
So as far as he knows, I fought Titan. I fought, Battle Beast. I fought, Dark Wing. I fought Omni Man. I fought Immortal. I fought all these people. And so if you can hit me like this, then I know you should be able to take, this much of a punch
Right.
or, something along the lines. And so everybody that he's dealt with up to this point, if I could recall correctly, has had some type of, you know,
Density.
regenerative type
Yeah.
of ability to where they keep coming back. Well, I'll say just about everybody. Doc Seismic does not necessarily have a regenerative ability, but he just seems to keep coming back. But in Mark's defense, he's not gotten into a fight with someone in a fist to fist, or basically a hand to hand fist fight with
No, because
someone.
even the elephant guy that we seen just carrying him by the trunk.
Right. So he's fought his dad, he's fought Immortal, he's
Fought
fought,
Titan.
Titan, he's fought the Sequids, and the Sequids were like mindless hive mind creatures, so he didn't have a problem squishing
Who's
those.
the guy? Cannon.
Kill Cannon.
Cannon. He fought him.
He fought him, but it's basically to subdue them so they can be arrested. But he knows how much of a punch that a person can take. Kill Cannon is not necessarily an enhanced human, but he's an augmented human. He has, the rifle, the cannon on his arm, but you
That he
punch.
kills with.
He doesn't have like super strength,
No.
and so they
Uh, Not super
in
strength.
yeah, not super strength.
Maybe
He's
advanced
enhanced.
strength.
He's enhanced
Enhanced
strength, but
strength.
not like
Yeah.
he's not like invincible level strong.
No, no, no.
But so Invincible and Eve, they know how far to take it with kill cannon to not kill him. And
Yeah.
so this
Clearly,
is
Eve plays around with him. That's why
right,
we had the whole bridge situation.
exactly. But so we get this situation where you have a foe that you've never faced before, you have no history with, just that they remember you and they're now blaming you for everything that's gone wrong in their life.
You
And
hit me with a bagel. Oh, sorry, wrong franchise.
but now he's also threatening your mother and your brother, right? So
Mm.
of course, Mark tries to de-escalate the situation, tries to diffuse the whole thing, tries to rationalize with him. Hey, look, I remember you. You saved me. I'm sorry I called you that guy, but I remember what you were trying to do. I was getting beat up and you were trying to save me. And when the reasoning doesn't work, then he's like, okay, then I guess we got to
We
go.
tried it your way.
And so, that's when he starts to fight, gets thrown through all the portals and everything. And then when he actually takes the time to stop and,
Mm.
think about what's going on, because of course, every time I lunge at him, no matter what I'm doing, he's going to
Throw
throw
me
me in
through
a
another
portal.
portal.
And so even when he got close enough to be able to get to him, now he's threatening to put Debbie and Oliver through a portal. He said he picked out a universe where the exact spot that they were is 8 stories up from the ground. He could just
Oh,
drop them through a portal.
that's crazy.
So it's like you're really at this impasse because you can't do anything. And so for Mark to smartly kind of get to that point to where he knows that the habit that he's been doing is every time he sees a portal open, he dives through it because he wants to get back to his family. And so when Angstrom opens the portal and Mark doesn't go through, we see that Angstrom gets impatient because he's like, okay, wait,
Mm-hmm.
something's wrong. What happened? So he's
Yeah.
poking his head through.
Maybe he's dead. Let's
Right.
see.
And so when we get the final or the climactic explanation of what Angstrom was trying to do, why do you think I sent you to all those other universes to tire you out? Because I wanted to be the one to kill you with my bare hands. And so this is Angstrom admitting that even though he has these augmentations, he's had this reparative surgery or whatever it is that these people have done to him to make him stronger, he still knows that he is not strong enough to go up against Invincible full strength. The only way he can beat them, I have to tire you out. That's the only way that I've seen you be able to be subdued. But
Again, Spider, here's the thing.
mm-hmm.
Go ahead, and I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna say this real quick. You did that research. You only asked one Invincible. I thought you were doing research, my guy.
Well, I think that's the only one that they showed us.
Mm.
But I think that's the that was the takeaway that he got from that. If I tire him out, then that means that he can be subdued.
So multiverse, you could have should kept like doing more research.
No, and I agree. And which is, like I said, back to my point to where this whole time he's been pointing out, in half these other universes, your identity is known, but in this universe it's not. In all of these other universes, you teamed up with your dad, but in this one you didn't. This is the only universe where I've encountered Oliver, and he's not around in any other universe. Clearly this Invincible is
different.
this is the anomaly. This is the one who didn't follow that, beaten path to where Invincible was gonna go. And for him to have the intelligence of all of these other the Angstrom leavers, because just about all of these Angstroms were some type of, genius in some type of field. So he has tons and tons of intelligence. He's a smart man, but right. In the face of revenge, he's just exactly. And so,
for those that didn't hear me, I said smart men making dumb choices.
What I but what I love about it is that in that dialogue or the monologue that Mark has with himself, first of all, he's like talking to myself can't be good, because if I'm talking to myself, then that means I'm talking to myself. Like, he was really going through it just out there in the desert by himself. But for him to have that conversation with to himself, and brilliant actor by Steven Yeun, and basically trying to convince himself that he didn't have a choice,
Mm-hmm.
but then also coming to the conclusion like he knows that he wanted to kill him. Like, to be able to have that growth, to be able to identify that within himself by himself, was just like, you think of everything that Mark has gone through and how it would be so easy for him to be able to disassociate and push his feelings down, and just like he kind of did when at the beginning of season 2, when he was like just kind of going through the motions, just saving people but not wanting to be known because he was trying to compensate for what his dad had done. And
Facts.
he could have easily just been like, you know what, I'm just going to ignore everything, I'm just going to focus on being a superhero, and that's going to be it. And he could have just been emotionless, been cold, and he would have turned into an immortal, you know.
Mm.
But we see,
Morning motor in a minute.
I just feel like in these last few episodes, we've seen so much emotional growth from Mark on just how to handle different situations. Like, the whole thing about trying to negotiate with free time with Cecil in the GDA, because he's trying to be better for Amber. He
Mm-hmm.
knows how
Mm-hmm.
much of everything that he has to do as Invincible is taking a toll on his relationship, and him actively wanting to try to change that, instead of just being like, oh, well, I
I
got to
gotta
be
save these
invincible, so
people.
I got to go
Right.
do what I got to do. Being
Right.
able to listen to Amber and understand how she feels, and be able to empathize with how she feels, because he knows that,
Exactly
she,
what that's like.
exactly. And on top of that, sitting there and talking to his mom about how he doesn't want to be, you know, what his dad was, and he's talking to her. He talked to Art about Amber. He talked to his mom about Amber. He was like, I remember how it was when dad would leave us for days at a time, and we don't know when he's going to come back or if he's okay. And we just have to wait until he inevitably returns. And we
Mm.
saw that in season 1, when Omni-Man went through the dimensional gateway to the aliens that age super rapidly, and he was
Woo!
gone for like 3 days or something like that, but in that
He
time he was gone for
destroyed
like
their
decades.
he destroyed their whole little everything.
Yeah. And
Flaxons, I think they were.
I think so, yeah. And then he like take over and like was the ruler over there for a while before he left.
Uh, yeah, he was their emperor.
Yeah. But so Mark is realizing that he knows that he doesn't want to do that to Amber, and we see them give it, one last good try, and going to the we saw when they were going to the Comic Con, the comic convention, and Invisible had to leave because he had to go help Rex, and we see him finally say, "Look, no suit, no earpiece, you know, just gonna go on a date," and then what happens? Anissa shows up,
Anisha
and,
shows up and
and
she put her hand around your neck
right,
to make you listen to
and just the
from the
the
back.
the emotional maturity on both Mark and Amber's side for them to be able to have that conversation, and nobody's fussing, nobody's arguing, nobody's
No,
blaming the
because
other
again,
person.
the biggest thing in season one, everybody hated Amber because of how her relationship was. They felt like she was being selfish. I think the writers listened to that, and that's how we got an extra down on the relationship. Because again, this was a 2 episode relationship breakup. This wasn't something that we just scroll past.
Right,
We went to the point of explaining, as much as I want to be in your world, I can't. I'm a liability. I shouldn't be in that world. Plus, I have a life of my own. I want to live that, and I don't want to die.
right.
So,
And most importantly, I
this
don't want to
that
die.
last one, that last one is a killer. So you can't be mad at Amber now. You
No,
can't be mad because
absolutely not.
she's choosing life over being, Invincible's girlfriend. And Invincible will learn to love again. But at that point in time, he had no time to grieve his relationship.
No,
And here you come threatening my little brother and my mother, and you broke her arm. So now you're Kool-Aid on the side of a, hey, how did the Guardians find Invincible in this dimension?
because they said that
Rocket? Because of
they
how?
what?
Because of Rocket? What do you mean? Because of what?
Because of
Robot.
Rocket.
Sorry, I don't know why I said Rocket. Clearly, I want to be in space with the Guardians.
No,
Because of Robot?
because they said that they had found him in the future, like 30 years into the future. They found him, and they, I guess, through the time they found out like exactly what happened and when he got stranded, and so they said that the uh future that they were in, they had multiple time machines, and so they
Oh,
were able to go back to that point to go and get him and allow him to go back to his reality, because in the world that he disappeared, everything got fucked.
wow. Wow. That's horrible.
And
And
so
again, I would not even want to stay on that Earth. Kaiju monsters come in, dimensional hopping aliens come in that age rapidly. The Viltrumites are coming. I don't even want to stay there. I just, I want to go somewhere. Let me go with Alan. Alan got a nice little setup out there wherever he at. He got a girlfriend.
yeah,
There's a bar.
but no, because even Mark asked, or he said, I'm glad you guys found me because I don't even know if I would have survived. And Robot tells him, oh, you would have survived. But
He's in title card.
you would not. No, that was
I thought we were dropping the
no.
title
We're
card
not
right
dropping
there.
the title card.
Because you would have survived. You're in.
No, he said you would have survived, but you would not have liked who you became,
Yeah.
because we were looking before they found him. He's out in the desert alone.
Mm-hmm.
The only body that's near him is the dead body of Angstrom Levy.
Yeah.
And he's already having this existential crisis about what just happened. And just the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes of him by himself. Imagine if he's out there for years.
Yeah.
Years, not finding anybody, not finding any food, because we don't really know, how long a Viltrumite can go without food or water
The
before,
older they get, the stronger they get. So,
if it even possible for him to starve or die from dehydration.
well, title card. He's title card. So he probably won't die.
But
Just
just
a
being,
horrible, horrible existence, though.
yeah, being in that mindset and having to deal with that struggle, and not having, you know, Eve and his mom and Cecil, for better or for worse, Cecil, try to, be the
Hey,
voice of
hey,
reason.
hey! Don't leave Dano out of that. Bring Dano in there too.
But Donald
He's
didn't
not
talk to he didn't talk
he's
to
not
Invincible.
human, but he's there.
But he didn't have a conversation with Invincible. I'm talking about the people that were trying to cheer Invincible up.
Oh, this is true.
But Cecil is basically trying to tell him, you're not your dad, you're not your father. It's like when, and Cecil say, when bad guys die and good guys survive, he
It's a good
considers
day.
that to be a win.
That's a win.
You know, and I know he wasn't trying to joke, but he was like, there's good guys and bad guys, and Mark was like, well, how do we know who's the good guys and who's the bad guys? And Sis was like, well, typically the good guys aren't the one that's breaking women's arms, and
Yeah,
that's very true.
Caesar's a cold hearted mother. He's not holding back. He's gonna tell you how he feel. He
Right,
ain't sugarcoating it. But I don't think his intent was to be thoughtless or heartless. I think the intent was, he was a bad guy,
right.
and you did the right
You
thing
did what you had to
because he
do.
needed to be stopped.
Yes.
Doesn't help when it's your first murder.
No.
It's murder.
Because you have these sort of, I won't even call them innocent characters, but the characters who are on this path of, their destiny, and part of their destiny
It's
is
to become a
them being
murderer.
told that they have to end their life in order to achieve their goal. We saw it in
Oh,
Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? And they were basically telling a 12-year-old kid that you have to kill this Fire Lord or else he's going to destroy civilization. And this is what you have to do. Everybody in his life is telling him, you have to kill. You are a pacifist, but you have to kill this person.
that's horrible.
You know, and so now we have Mark is like, you know, you are invincible, right? You have this power that no one else has, but the legacy of that power comes from murderers, people who conquered planets. And the
Yeah,
internal
that's your
struggle,
heritage.
right? That's
Welcome.
your heritage. That's your
You from a
ancestry.com.
from a long line of murderers, my kid.
And so dealing with, if I am to use these powers,
Uh-huh.
does this
Uh-huh.
mean that I am just
Uh-huh.
as bad as them? No, it can't be
Yes.
that I'm just as bad as them because I don't do what they do. I don't kill. I don't torture. I don't, try to assert my strength or dominance over anybody. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
Viltrumite.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finally gives into that anger, which he had been trying not to do, but like you said, lost his girlfriend, dealing with his mom being injured, dealing with his dad being alive after, thinking that he,
Was
fucked
dead.
off somewhere,
Yeah.
not knowing
And then
where
turn
he
around and lose them again.
exactly. And he's, like we
And
said,
this chick done almost threatened you like he could have killed. That's just you can't just
right.
downplay that.
And you think
And a
about,
Viltrumite invasion's coming.
right. But all of this stuff that's happened in just the second half of season 2, right? This is after Mark got back from Thraxa. Mark was already gone for 2 months on Thraxa and already
Been
had to
too
deal
much, yeah.
with, finding out his dad was alive, finding out his dad is remarried, finding out
Right.
that now he has a brother, and then,
And a stepmom.
and well, stepmom's dead at this point. But,
Damn.
a day
Thought it died
after
like three
that,
weeks ago.
probably. But like a day after that, now we have to fight Viltrumites. And mere hours after I found out that my dad is still alive, now he's beaten and taken from me again. And so I spend 2 months trying to help.
And I get the nonsense beat out of me.
Right.
With a hole in him. He had a hole in him.
He did have a hole in him.
He was a donut. He was an invincible donut.
But he recuperates, he helps Thraxa rebuild, and then he comes back home. And then ever since he stepped foot back on Earth, it has been nonstop drama and heartache for Mark ever since he got back. It's like it just nothing since he got back from Thraxa has been going right for him.
Which
He's failing out of school.
this is true.
He was dealing with everything that with Amber, trying to make that, fix that, get that right up again. Dealing with Cecil and GDA, dealing with now he has a baby brother, and how are we gonna do with this? And
And
making
he's
sure his
not making
mom
a
is
bunch of
okay.
money.
He's not making any money at all.
Yeah, Cecil don't even pay him. It's like, golly, Cecil, come on, man. All that tech you got. I know somebody's fronting the bill. You could pay the kid something.
Something. But
That's slavery.
all of that built up and built up and built up and built up because we only just now get to see Invincible or Mark really rely on other people to help him sort through his emotions, sort through his feelings. We've seen, like we said,
Yeah.
seen it with Art, seen it with Debbie, seen it with Eve, seen him talking to
Yeah.
Amber,
Yeah.
talking to Cecil somewhat, talking to William. He's not shying away from letting people know how he feels, but
Yeah.
and he's still getting that reassurance like you're doing the right thing. You're not being your father, just because you are, have Viltrumite in you, that doesn't mean that you're going to be him, right? All of this
Right.
reassurance that he's getting, but the fact of the matter is that none of it is being resolved, right? Because there's only really one person that can give him that closure and to reassuring him that he's not going to turn out like Omni-Man, and that's Omni-Man. Omni-Man is the
Mm.
only one that can ease Mark's mind and say, you're better than I was, because not only did you, or were you able to embrace your humanity and realize that what Viltrum wants to do is oppressive, it's wrong, but you also had the strength to take those beliefs, to take those
Uh-huh.
morals, and
Uh-huh.
stand up to me.
Hey, and make me think about it.
Right. And I think until we get that, Mark is still always going to have that conflict inside of him. And that's what ultimately led to him just eventually just kind of exploding, because he's never really been able to deal with all of that inner turmoil. He's never had sort of a release of anguish and anger and pain. He's just kind of all just kind of takes it in, because after he heals up, he has to go and off to do the next thing, right?
Yeah,
His dad
true.
leaves, he has to go underwater and go fight this giant fish crab thing, because his dad killed the king, and so he
That
has to
happened.
marry the queen, or
That
fight for her
happened.
life and all this other kind of stuff. All of this stuff that he has to deal with never has given him time enough to be able to properly just decompress after everything that happened in season one.
That's why I tell people be mindful, because if you catch those hands, you're not sure what you're catching those hands for. You might be dealing with child support or bankruptcy or car repossession, credit card loans, student loans. Like people going through stuff,
Yeah,
and you thinking that you go say something at Starbucks, and you catch them hands, you be like, all this over a cinnamon roll? Be like, nah, you go get
it's the wrong day.
all this traffic. You gonna
Right.
get this C on my exam.
They
Like
cut
I'm
my
about to,
hours.
I'm about to let. I just needed the release, so thank you. I'll be like, nah, I don't want none of that.
I ain't even got to
You
go to
could,
the gym today.
hey, you could go before me. I don't even need that cake pop that bad. I was just saying I could get a large americano. Um, Spider, you talked about it, Omni Man needing to be in Invincible's life to give him the confirmation to let him know that we are not the same. We have nothing in common. Like, first of all, I can kill you. You can't kill me. I'm stronger than you. I'm your dad, and you gotta learn how to bow down and kiss the ring. Um, which remind me of Dune, when you said you have to take that life because it's a part of your prophecy, when you mentioned that. But Omni Man's in jail. He's been captured
Mm-hmm.
by the Viltrumites, the Viltrums. And Viltrumites don't assassinate or murder or kill. They're
Execute.
execute. Good, appropriate answer, response. Until they're at full strength. Now we see Nolan's. I won't say he's at full strength, but he's definitely making these robots or androids that, oh, they're robots. There's no human parts on them. That's making them basically paperweights,
Yeah.
running through them, running through them. Not as bad as he ran through the Guardians, but he's getting to that level.
And I mean, you remember that at the end of part one of the season, Nolan's back was broken.
This is true.
Like he got,
They gurneyed him out of
yeah,
there.
to where
And
now he's able to make light work of these guards or whatever they were.
so basically, oh yeah, because the guards came in too, and yeah, he was like, clearly they didn't tell y'all who I was.
Right.
You shouldn't even came in here. And he runs through them quick, quick, but enough to the point that I think he's playing possum in a sense, and then Alan's there
Mm-hmm.
now, and Alan used his thingy. That's what it's called, a thingy now. My thingy only works one
Between
way.
it only works between me and one other person, not between two other persons.
So he's talking to Nolan, and clearly they've met before,
Mm-hmm.
because the first time he met Invincible, he was like, "Hey, you shaved your mustache and you look younger." It's like, no, you must be talking about my dad. So when Alan says, "Do you remember me?" Nolan's like, "Yes." yes, I do remember you. Why are you here? You
Right.
know, he's like, I'm here for you. That's all that needs to be said. You know, at some point in time, they're gonna break out of there. It's only a matter of time. Because again, I think that if he's not 100%, he's clearly in. What? Here's the funny part.
Mm-hmm.
What if they told you that he's only like 10% better?
You know what?
for Bill
I'd
for
believe it.
Bill Schmites. He's
Right.
not even at 90%.
I'd
He's
believe
like
it.
he's at 2% better than what he was when he came in.
I'd believe
That
it.
would be horrible.
Because I mean, we've seen how fast a Viltrumite is. We saw Anessa just basically be like a sniper shot through that kaiju's head, and like we talked about, when she stopped and all of the blood just shot off of her.
I don't think they could have illustrated something so BA more than that.
And it's just
It was
like,
almost as interesting when Nolan flew out and all the blood burned off of him.
yeah,
You were like, oh, that okay, well that's atmosphere. That but this was like, wow. Wow, the blood don't even stick. She's dry clean.
right. And the way that she's regarded by General Krieg, she's clearly like a lower officer or something. So you would think that her superior officers are stronger than her, are faster than her, you know. And when the two guards were taking Nolan out, and they're about to, you know, pick him up or whatever, and he kind of gives them a look, and they're like, "Don't make us hurt you." It's like, dude, like we really, I looked up to you growing up, and it pains me to see you like this. I don't want to fight you, you know. And we really don't know how strong Omni Man is. We
Clearly.
know how strong he had to be to stop the Guardians,
Mm.
but we don't know if his strength extends
And
beyond that.
he at the end of that fight, he was also hospitalized.
Right.
So that goes to show you, like he didn't he put it in with the Guardians.
Yeah.
Just to show you if that was humanity's last hope, they gave it everything that they had.
Yes.
And they
And
still didn't.
had they been prepared,
Yeah, that's
they
true too, because
might
there was an
have.
element of surprise.
Yeah. They might have been able to get him.
But let's be honest, Cecil was putting that team together for that exact situation, though, which is why he was again kind of grooming Mark for that exact situation too.
Right.
He just didn't foresee it coming as
That
fast as it
soon.
came.
Right.
Because it's kind of like the boys in a sense with Homelander. They wanted Homelander's son to be the anti-Homelander in case he ever was to break bad. You have somebody to go toe to toe with him.
Right.
But Homelander's like, I have a son. I want to see my son.
Right. That
And
only
now
works as long as you
Ryan,
keep him away from him.
yeah, now Ryan is under the influence of Homelander, and now Homelander is, lasering people to death, and
Yep.
he'll be on trial for that. Hey, we didn't jump universes. We're still on Amazon Prime Video.
I mean, it's still a different universe.
It's on the same home verse streaming network.
Sure.
It's owned by the same people.
That is true.
There you go. I knew one of them had to be appeasing to the ears.
But even we get in Mark's sort of, I guess, anguish, we see him like just flying through the air and just flying as fast as he can, just trying to release all of that turmoil that he has inside of him. And who knows how fast the dude was flying. He looked like he was about to do a, what Superman was that? Superman 2, Superman 3, where he started flying backwards and
Oh,
just
when you mean
and
we started spinning the
rewound
earth
time.
around?
Yeah.
Yeah, he clearly was breaking some sound barriers, but then at the same time, Mark always does that. Well, I can't say always does that. He definitely did it when he got home. And I think they
Oh,
wanted to make it a point to show that he was doing that when he got home to fight Angstrom Levy.
yeah.
Because you get the jogger or whoever that was, and then you see Mark come through with a little sonic boom,
Mm-hmm.
land, and then go inside. that's not something that they had to show. They wanted you to show that he was. Think about Neo in the Matrix when Trinity was falling. How he was going so fast that cars and things were following in his backdraft, his tailwind,
Yeah.
and then it got to a point that he started going even faster, and he left all that behind. I got to get there. When do you think we're going to see Omni Man and Alan break out of prison? Early in season three, late in season three, because they have so much. I think we talked about this on the last show. They have so much other stuff that they can get to, and with them
Yeah.
taking out Angstrom Levy, he was a big threat. Not really, because he don't. Again, he didn't have. He had enhanced powers, but you you get somebody like Titan, or you get somebody like Titan. Even if you knock off his rock skin or concrete skin or whatever stone they want to say it grows like right back. You can regenerate it. It's really
Yeah.
fast.
It'd take a minute, but yeah.
Other enemies, we got to give Mark some wins on his roster. But early in the season, you think we'll see the escape? Late in the season, it clearly in the comics, Angstrom Levy goes to different universes recruiting Invincibles to fight Invincible.
Hmm.
There's an Invincible core or whatever, however you want it. Once you give multiverses, you get a lot of characters of the same character with different traits, but it's the same guy because it's a multiverse. We kind of thought that was going to happen this go around, especially with him talking to one of the Invincibles that got caught. You think that, at some point he was going to just start recruiting them since you were talking to him like that. That didn't happen. He took it upon himself that he was going to wear Mark down and then try to kill him himself. Didn't go that way. Season three. We're talking season three, Spider.
Mm.
How are we setting it up? Just I know you don't know, but just if you had to guess, how are
Oh, I
we
mean,
going into it?
I have a fairly good idea because what I'm thinking that this realistically will go 4 seasons. I think
Whoa.
that with what they have left to cover in the comic books, I can see how they can stretch this out for 2 more seasons.
And then
And
that's it? No more Invincible?
I mean, because
Title card?
there's no more Invincible title, there's no more Invincible comics. The comic run is over. I think once
Yeah,
you
but
tell the whole story, you wrap it up, and then you're done.
yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Why
It's
not?
way it's way too much going on with Invincible.
I mean, you there's a definitive end in the comic book, so you think that they're going to take the show beyond where the comics stop?
Yes. Yes, 100%.
I don't think they need to do that
Oh, but they have to.
because then that's when you run the risk of, first of all, you run the risk of oversaturating, you run the risk of ruining the ending of a character, of how these people who are these comic book purists, who are these invincible purists, they've been following this story.
Uh-huh.
They don't want to see just something just thrown together for the sake of marketing for a TV show.
I don't
The
think it's a thrown together situation.
but I feel
Just
like
like
if there was more story to tell, more story would have been told.
just like we got a origin story of Eve and we got an origin story of Alan, I think they can narrate, if chosen, a compelling story that continues Mark's story. Because again, they don't necessarily have to go the way of the comic book. They're changing small things along the line. So if a change come later on, it's not going to be that jarring because they've been changing things throughout the season. One has changes. Season two clearly has changes. We just mentioned one, and I can't see how they at the end. Don't get me wrong. What you're saying, I think, is accurate. I think they're gonna wrap it with probably one of the most well-adjusted, down and out characters that they ever created. I will not take that away from them because they, and again, they assured that we double down, triple down, quadruple down on whatever the origin story is, because that's how you get sympathy for a character. Mark was bullied and he didn't have powers and he wanted to be like his dad, and you know, then great power came great responsibility. He had a job, he threw the trash. That trash is still flying, by the way. Just want you to know that.
No, it didn't. It came
It's,
down.
came
It,
down
it
where?
came down to like Paris or something.
That's horrible.
It is horrible, but it did come down. I do remember that.
I don't remember it coming down. I have to go back and watch season one again. That's horrible. So don't litter in Paris. For everybody that knows, they know. See, do you really think it's gonna stop after four? No spin-offs, no continuation
I
of the
think if
story.
there are any spin-offs, they'll kind of go along the lines of the Guardians of the Globe comics and kind of highlight some other heroes. But I think that after season 4, I think Invincible story, Mark Grayson's story, is going to be done.
It's horrible. It's totally horrible. I'm crying right now. You can't see the tears because they're rolling the other way. Instead of coming this way, it's going the opposite way. It's horrible.
But
We need we need more Invincible title cards.
but when it comes to season 2 of Invincible,
Yeah,
Mr. VIP Frankie Washington,
all day, all every day. There's
was
no
it
days off.
super?
Was it so? Spider, I'm gonna take this opportunity to say this real fast. I'm gonna say it for fast for no reason. Season one we deemed super. Season two, it's hard to do the second season. It's hard to do sequels. It's hard. They succeeded, sir. They succeeded with this one. Okay, they succeeded. They took everything that you liked about the first one and doubled down on it. But I liked where they went with it. And even though, again, I know the story, I like the artistic choices to go different and go off script. It's always entertaining. They give you those heartfelt moments. Like we didn't even get into the part that I say we're going to get into, which we're getting into now because I'm bringing it up. The immortal story. For those who saw it, knows that Kate's alive. We
Mm-hmm.
clearly identify Kate Zero as Kate Zero. She's alive. She's she's alive, and clearly she knows where the immortal stays because she's there while he was fishing and
Well, I'm
trying to
pretty
get
sure
himself
that
together.
because she retains all of the memories of all of the duplicates, so I'm pretty sure that they talked about, retiring and getting out the
To the
game and
garden,
where they would go. Yeah, retiring in the
potentially,
garden.
potentially. But here's the thing: is she going to duplicate herself again and leave? I mean, that's what I would do.
No,
There's nothing that's saying she can't duplicate herself again. So why not
I think that she's just gonna,
retire?
yeah, because I don't think, because like you said, she got tired of dying over and over and over again, so that's why she hid a body away so she could know that she wouldn't have to worry about living that fate and potentially one day ultimately dying.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think that she wants to give that life up, and I think that Immortal is more than willing to give that life up to be with Kate.
Well, that sucks. Cause again, with kaiju monsters and dimension hopping and aliens, and who's that guy that like they had nine guardians, 9, 10, 12 guardians fight? What's that guy? The skeleton
Omnipotus?
guy? Omnipotus. And you all bow down to Omnipotus. And Immortal was like, no.
No.
But it's those scenes, it's those caring scenes, it's scenes like that that makes you say, God damn right, this is super. Turn it on. Let's rewatch it. Let's have a watch party. Let's go title card, title card, title card, title card. I think so. But nobody cares what I think, Spider. They're only here to know what you think
Oh,
because
I
your standards are higher
seriously
than mine.
doubt that.
I strongly believe this. They want to know. They want to know, Spider, what did you think of season two? Title card, title card, title card. Was it super?
One of the things that I appreciated about this season is that we got hit with all of the, because it was like The Boys in a sense, right? We get these Amazon Prime
Yeah,
Video
yeah.
shows
I said that
where
earlier. Yeah.
they opened it up and they just hit us with a shock factor, right? If you didn't know anything about Invincible comics, you could hardly prepare yourself for the amount of blood and gore,
Uh huh.
that goes on in the
It's a
show.
cartoon. It's an animation. You're not expecting that.
Right.
This
But
ain't no Warner Brothers. This ain't no WB.
the thing about it is that it's done in such a way to where it's not gratuitous but still shocking,
Uh huh.
because it's not like we're, I won't go as far as to say we're not ripping people apart just for the sake of ripping them apart, because I know that there are
Dude,
some,
Kimono Dragon bit Rex hand off.
yeah, there are some parts that are just,
Like the
violent for the
skin
sake of
was
being
there.
violent.
Yeah.
But I feel like we had a lot of that in season one with the Guardians of the Globe fight, with the, Immortal fighting the Mauler twins, with, the Immortal and the Omni-Man fight, with the, destruction of Chicago. They had a couple of kaijus that they had to fight in season one. You know, with
Omni Man put his son through a bus and killed people on the
the
bus
the
with
train.
his the train. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
But even though we got all of that in season one, and we got a good bit of it in season two, I like the way that season two was more focused on, this was truly like an aftermath, the aftermath of what happened after Omni Man, the world's beloved hero, turned villain.
Mm.
And literally this whole season, from Debbie's, her dealing with alcoholism and going to support meetings, and just to find out that she's being hated in these support meetings because they know who her husband is,
Mm.
having to deal with so much of this on her own, and not feeling like she could trust Cecil, in we getting the developments stories of Donna, of Eve, of Amber, of William, of Rick, of Donald, of Cecil, of Rex, of Immortal, of Kate, all this on top of
Ted.
Mark and Alan and Nolan. You have almost every single main character in this show is having some type of character progression, but
Mm-hmm.
at no point in time does this show feel overstuffed. Like,
Mm.
oh, they're trying to do too many things with too many characters. There's never a point to where I'm like, oh wait, I'm stuck on this one. Wait, what happened with this one? Wait, I got to catch up with this one before I could go to this one and try to figure out where this
It
person
does
is.
flow seamlessly,
It
yes.
Everything, like I said, no matter what character we're focusing on throughout the season, they've all gotten, a little bit of time to shine, a little bit of time to progress, a little bit of time to develop, but nothing overstayed their welcome. But then I also feel like there's very little that we were still yearning for more for. I think,
Mm.
if anything, we're just yearning for more episodes, because you only tell
Hey,
so
hey.
much in eight episodes.
You know,
But
I said it so many times,
but
you
here's the
know.
thing, like we talked about all of these other shows that are 6, 8, 9 episodes, how everything feels rushed because they feel
Yeah.
like they have to tell this grand story within these 8 episodes. I feel like every single episode of Invincible was so expertly paced. It
Mm.
really felt like comic book issues, right? And you get an episode, and then at the end of the episode you have somewhat of a resolution of whatever thing that they were trying to fight for that episode, but
Mm-hmm.
the overarching stories are still
Intact.
ongoing. And
Gotcha.
so we touch on those in each episode. We progress a little bit more, but we have the fight underwater with the sea queen and all this other kind of stuff. We have the Comic-Con episode where we're trying to go on a date to try to, be able to rekindle our love with Amber. We have the Sequid episode that was 2 parts. We have the nuclear weapons facility episode, which was 2 parts. It really just feels like we're going through issues of a comic book as we're going through these episodes. It's enough
Nice.
to, you know, satiate our taste for what we're having with Invincible, but then at the end, we're wanting more, but we're not left starving, right? We're like, oh, that shit was good. I can't wait till the next episode. But it's not like that's it. That's all we're getting. It's like this didn't answer this question. This didn't answer that question. It's still
Well, you know Robert Kirkman actually write comic books,
yes. No, I
so
absolutely understand that. But
Walking
because
Dead
we've
was a comic book first, folks.
right.
I don't know if you guys know that.
I don't know if anybody's denying that.
Oh, okay. I thought they were trying to deny it in the comments or something.
But it shows how much the dedication of like we said, the creator of Robert Kirkman and all of his other writers and the writers of the show and the storyboard artists and the directors of the episode, it goes to
Mm-hmm.
show that when you have a beloved franchise that's coming from source materials, whether it's in comic books or graphic novels or what have you, and you take the care to cater the story for the show, but
Uh huh.
not lose the intent and integrity of what the comic stood for. And this is sort of like a masterclass on how to do that because, like we talked about,
Ooh.
we've seen the variations of what it was in the comics versus what it is on the show, and none of it takes away from the story, right? We may not go
Mm.
as in depth to some storylines because of course we have a time frame for our episodes, we have a episode count for the season,
Of
so
course.
of course you can't go through everything, but everything that needs to be hit got hit on. Everything that needed to be said got said. Everything that needed to be shown got shown.
Mm.
And going from, like I said, there's on the Invincible social media account, after every episode, they do a shot for shot comparison of some of the biggest set pieces in the episode. And so
Really?
they basically say from page to screen, and they'll show the scene from the show, and then they'll show the panel from the comic book. And 9 times out of 10, it is literally shot for shot. They framed it
Wow.
up the same way in a lot of those shots, and it's just again that level of taking that care into producing a show. It just shows in every single episode in both of these seasons. So there's no other verdict to give it but to call it super. It's just the perfect example of what an animated show based on the comic book property should be.
In the across the Spider Verse, beyond the Spider Verse type of range, are you leveling it out with that? I mean, I know we shouldn't compare it; it's its own thing.
Yeah, and I
But
mean, because I feel like it's two different things because the Across the Spider Verse plot line into Across Beyond Spider Verse, it doesn't follow like a set canonical storyline for Miles Morales. It's sort of
kind of does, kind of doesn't. It picks
it's
up. He's
like
a little
it's
older.
yeah, it's inspired by various issues
Yeah,
of Miles Morales, because there are the origin stories of the Ultimate Spider-Man when Peter gets killed by Goblin or gets killed while fighting Goblin, and a lot of where that storyline went in the comics. Of course, Miles, like you said, was a whole lot younger in the comics. He ended up eventually meeting up with Peter from another universe, and they
right.
were able to be both Spider-Men in the same universe and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely being taken from a lot of different storylines, a lot of different, inspirations of where the Miles Morales character has been from its inception to where we got the movie. But
Yeah.
whereas Invincible is sort of a direct adaptation of the Invincible run. So I would say that as far as a semi quasi original storyline,
Okay,
as
quasi.
far as Across the Spider-Verse, goes, they did a great job with what they did. But for reference sake, in Invincible, I don't think that anybody has ever done it better of taking the story from the
Mm.
page and putting it on the screen.
Ooh, Shreddy, you almost made me take my glasses off. Golly, golly, wow.
I mean, it's a great show. It There's not much that could be said as far as improvement. I really have nothing to nitpick
What?
on.
No, no notes.
No
No
notes.
notes.
I mean, the only notes, like I said, I feel like a show of, because it's a double edged sword, which I can understand. I feel like this type of show would greatly benefit from having more episodes,
Mm-hmm.
being that it is derived from a comic book, and like I said, there are those additional panels that give a lot of exposition, a lot of additional information, a lot of additional panels that are just reaction panels and stuff like that. So of course you can cut some of that down to maintain a more concise story. But I do think that we could get additional stories from side characters if we have more episodes. We'd be able to get a little bit more Eve, a little bit more Rex. We might be
This is
able to
true.
find out a little bit more about
About
Shrinking Ray,
bulletproof.
or about Bulletproof. Because I feel like she we had Shrinking Ray as a core part of Teen Team, and then transition to Guardians of the Globe.
Right.
But I would not be able to tell you anything that Shrinking Ray said in any given episode.
I don't think she
Like,
has
I don't
any
know if she's ever
lines.
had any lines.
Yeah.
But this is a person who's a vital part of the Guardians of the Globe, and literally everyone else in Guardians of the Globe: Rex, Immortal, Duplicate, Robot, Monster Girl, you know, even when Shapesmith came in, Bulletproof came in, Black Samson came in. They all
That's
had
right.
these little actual like scenes
Uh-huh.
to where we get reactions from them, we get exposition from them,
That's right.
something. This was like Rex and Kate's one of their best friends, and we never heard from her. We never even seen her outside of any
Mm.
time that they were fighting.
Mm.
I think she might have said like maybe a line or two when they were having like Guardians tryouts after Omni Man, destroyed the first Guardians of the Globe.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's like we haven't heard anything from her. So if we had maybe a couple more episodes, we could have had an episode going back to how Shrinking Ray got her start while she's in the, you know, incubator and she's trying to recover. We could have had like a flashback episode where they reminisce on Shrinking Ray's greatest adventures. Something to give us,
Facts.
like we said, it's not necessarily tied to in the comics, but that could give us a little bit of additional information because we
Facts.
already talked about it in the comic, Shrinking Ray dies and does not
Well,
come back.
well,
He
we
in
thought that was the case this time
Yeah,
too.
we thought that was the case this time too. So it's like obviously you brought the character back for a specific reason, but it would help us feel that compassion for her so much more if we knew a little bit more about her. So I
This
think
is
that
true.
really the only complaint that I would
Maybe a
have about
season
the
three.
show is have more episodes. But like I said, double edged sword, I know that like we were talking about before, and it kind of, made the whole meta joke inside of the episode, animation takes a long time.
Animation takes a long time, Spider. You
And
gotta
when you
wash
have
the clothes, hang them out to dry.
this detailed of a show, and the fight scenes are choreographed in the way they are, and they're animated the way they are, and they add so
Mm-hmm.
much, you know anatomical realism to a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's time and attention and care that goes into animating these frames. So of course it's going to take a long time. And in order to be, I guess, most cost effective when it comes to making the show, then they probably can only manage to have 8 episodes per season. So
Makes
I think
sense.
if anything, if anything extends it to more seasons, it's going to be the short episode count.
Oh,
Because
come
I
on.
really feel like with the way that they've been formulating the story over the past couple seasons, if they maintain the 8 episode count for the next couple seasons, yeah, they can get the story done in those 2 seasons. Yeah, you probably have to cram some stuff in there. But I think if they like
About it as
bump it
hard.
up, if they bump it up to 10 episodes per season, I think we can have a full 2 more seasons of 10 episodes each season, and we can get a full, like, really good telling of the rest of Invincible story.
That's hard because you and I both know they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I know that.
I want them to so bad. I want them to. Just 10 or 12 episodes because there's so much story that you can tell.
Yeah.
But usually when they lock them in, it's hard negotiating or renegotiating when you come through and say, yeah, we like the show. We want to do 3 more seasons, but can we do 12 episodes versus the 8 episodes? And they'll be like, sure. Where's that blank check?
Right.
Because that's how much it's going to cost you. And like you said, animation takes a long time. So they're going into it knowing that it's an 8 episode situation, which they try to structure it out narrative wise to make the most sense.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. Clearly, they know what they're doing. But I think you're right. Amazon, who's one of the biggest names ever, can open up their pocketbooks and you know put some pony behind this horse, or some
However
giddy
the
up,
saying goes.
giddy up
But
behind this pony,
they did
giddy up behind this
say
horse.
that it has been confirmed that the wait between season 2 and season 3 will not be anywhere near as long as the wait between season 1 and season 2.
A wise man told me just today. I don't believe what I read, so I don't. I'll believe that when I see that.
Well, not sure exactly when we'll be getting a release date for season 3. We just know that Invincible is confirmed for season 3. They are already working on it. So hopefully we get it within a year, maybe. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll
But
definitely see. We need another big bad at this point. He has a whole rogues gallery at this point.
oh, there
Somebody else got to
is.
take
There's a
lead.
there's a big bad that's gonna pull up if it goes the
We
way
outside.
if it goes the way that the comics is going, there will be a big bad, and he will be something else to deal with. But we'll see how that turns out. But let us know what you thought about this video. Let us know what you thought
God
about
damn,
season
Mark.
2 of
More L's
Invincible.
on the way.
But remember, if you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out.
Ding.
If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And
Yeah,
if you
hit
want to
that note.
follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
Y'all let me know what color Mark's new suit will be next season. Because clearly he's going from the yellow and black to the blue and black. What's the next color that we're looking at? That's what I want y'all to leave me in the comments.
There you go.
If you know the answer already, you can say it. It's okay. Because they can deviate from your answer.
It'll be interesting.
It will be. It will be something to see. I know that.
But we
Go watch Invincible, title card, season 2. If you haven't watched season 1, watch season 1 first, and then binge watch it. Take a weekend. It's only 8 episodes per season, so
yeah.
you can do that in a day, ish, depending on when you start.
Yeah. It's possible. It's very possible.
Do it now before it's not possible. So, not invincible then.
But we will be patiently awaiting season 3 whenever it comes out. And once season 3 gets released, we will be back. Once they drop the trailer, we will do a trailer reaction. Once the season drops, we'll be back and reviewing every single episode to
What's your
find
favorite
out
part of your day?
if season 3 is just as super as seasons 1 and 2. But
if you made it this far, you know you like us, so you might as well just go ahead and subscribe.
there you go. We appreciate all the love, all the support. We will see you guys in the next episode. But just remember, until then, keep being super.
I've been working on my hearts. Look at it, gotten so much better.
Have they?
Yeah. How you look at it.